Alright, it's yet another day. MYBET.AFRICA TV and radio meeting at the event center. It's not safe. It's Ray. Copim 2:30. A good year was Jabwa Bono and any other but Channel Sunday. You better bet na ya diska and no lipu. 3 slips nina lipu high. But minim say moi. Multi monitor bet no. Munya cash out. And in the name of the comment section. More no munya proper cash out. Me cash out by me. I knew say Liverpool for them this season. Or match last minute goals and you know they were going to do justice for me by Nra. Ekuyenes Omaya Japan. And it's me there. I went to justice now. I mean say a very sad situation and it happened. No, a lot of games. I told you, Shannon nay a lot of other games. I told you a war Champions League no more. Yeah, the Munchim but money man at Nasi. Remember, the American a German so now you share the exciting offers, bonuses are, and in my bets. So, Edema a year, the customers, any year investors, and say, nay, you better one matches and now, money man. And so, it's me by Enra Atlanta, Club Brugge, Shamu 2-1, and Rombe complete a comeback. Enra Ghana need this year, Kamaldeen Sulemana. And no, it's not bench. Emma, Nigeria need this year. A year, Ademola Lukman and starts here. A Branton Burma and there's a Ghana for them. Yeah, so it's me boy and I just say, Rene be completed that comeback and no Kairat Almaty. Ewo Kazakhstan or Motinefi in front of 28,000 spectators. And my name Real Madrid for no Echo Bomo a cap party in Num 5-0. And as I give me the Atletico de Madrid Massa. Omo form brutal Sakamuti no omo form brutal 2 games omo last 2 games omo share 10 goals. This is Atletico de Madrid. You know how much Eintracht Frankfurt e born 5-1 near my nso team go no catch us Frankfurt to score highly possible. You know almost go no etimi boyana enye agudi Bodo Glimt any Tottenham Hotspur. You know am sure say Bodo for no money man kind. Sa AstroTurf no, so ya ding, and it was always going to be difficult for Spurs to go to nowhere. Mekako peki wins. And no, as a game no, and so ending 2-2. And no, Mohamed Kudus, and so started from the bench. Obey the second goal or no, and that pre-assister. Near United, because no Chelsea the Blues. It's not fear. Omo coming Jose Mourinho, and in the team Benfica, Chelsea. Eche Benfica, Ebone Kabako, Benfica, team and said no once again. Chelsea send the red card. They know Aqua said Chelsea game be a ucha red card. Highly possible in this game. Last 4 games, Omaji red card and Kwa a 3 and a good day. And no Galatasaray. So it was Rams Park in Istanbul. Omuchi Liverpool. Ebonekaba Kwenwa Gala for social media admin. Why you post been a mihuya ma seriously? I'll say you never walk alone, but at times. I was say we disappointed. Not just say ultimate working alone. No. Message kesia Galatasaray for social media for yes. I say you never walk alone, but sometimes you walk out without point. And you know, nanti alone. Only we interact without any point. That is so savage. I know. Gala for admin they buy. Among for say admin no show Africa ni. Inter Milan and so Slavia Praha. Ebone Kamiensan omo entimi ante Ajax Massa Roberto Di Zerbi Mranti no Garnacho Greenwood Aubameyang and all these players omo form brutal no omo chi Ajax ebo Ajax 4-0 ache say Ajax for the no omo Twitter so pia Pafos ene by many game no no Nicholas Jackson yes Africa Haina best striker no me boy no and ra onya a goal Esansu provided 2 assists and Isaac call Liverpool go shokra and why then etimi e dia manity not all that glitters and a go down pa I'm paying for kinds omo emwa. So these are the games I know and so etimi told you and no one La Liga game back to you no Real Oviedo yes Kwasi Zibo ni team no. And no coaching Valencia home and no almost say a man for bed brutal. But in this game, the always best option was to go for both teams to score and over 1.5 goals in this game. Then Real Oviedo ekoche Valencia eboneka pole 2-0 just under first 4 minutes and then Danjuma ebo first goal ma Valencia yabati and then 85th minutes and then on the 86th minute then Real Oviedo for almost 2 minutes and they share 2 goals almost take lead na nyama nyina kwen nyame adoma ne UEFA Champions League games no sound so twice so sharing so say ne uko piemu dia Azerbaijan Karabakh FK and FC Copenhagen and so ebetia about Royal Union St. Gillois and so any Newcastle bebo Belgium on one so Emirates and Arsenal and Olympiacos Piros and so betimi dia rentam so any wo Estadio de Montjuic was Spain Barcelona any PSG bebo sa game way enye bayra abrajo any ukitafona ko Instagram na search Lamine Yamal masa akra no hu o invite pressure brutal. This is the thing na last season na Lamine Yamal ya na man for ntia no okobo game no wa posty what pressure wa bragging on social media platforms ukoni WhatsApp by now na mu nyina emma love emojis TikTok Instagram Facebook baby I know post say and obesi from ampampa ubosa brand no game no ba no was from that is Lamine Yamal ntene was started to ayampia say ne PSG for no omo pomimpo omaji be remu na dey all the details no so team dey about Leverkusen bet na fie na on PSV and Eindhoven and so team dey about Borussia Dortmund e bet na Signal Iduna na on Atletico Bilbao Inaki Williams mu team na saying Omasa Bruta Sanso and Monaco almost one team more form but them over the weekend my ancestry from Abra Lauren Mashom today Monaco and Manchester City bebo Sanso and Napoli and Sporting CP bebo Villarreal and Juventus and so a bit mid ediabo. So these are the games and Yamiad after a game no say and our Champions League top 5 standings in the city here. Bayern Munich was 6 points. Real Madrid Tosumino also was 6 points. Inter Milan Tosu third also was 6 points. Tottenham Hotspur Thomas Frank was 4 points. And then a PSG and so and also 5th position now was 3 points. And then Real Madrid yes that second and then Barca bebo and then Kopima is Chelsea so Kopima on the 17th position with just 3 points. Liverpool so 3 points. So this is how our standings no at nyame much now boy and then we are your best also update and so at me at the amount this and many more and then it happen won't go for a man so until the money man at say you remember now all the MYBET education ama you repair na your remu and no games no you review how never see should it be a concern about Chelsea for red card Enzo Maresca kasa you be remu na the details in your team the brand no Liverpool was it an attempt for an slot at least give me crowd. I mean, compare draw because they're not in lineup. No, the boy, you know. I mean, no Salah and Stati. I think that a lot of players, McAllister, Muina, and so Anthony and Stati. You be remu na yeah the tactical, in-depth analysis, Nina, and so it's me. At the remedy event sense, Shannon show no live. It was YouTube. MYBET.AFRICA TV, MYBET.AFRICA TV sounds so and MYBET online radio show no and so I live on Facebook Street is watching a live or sound so and then MYBET.AFRICA TV and MYBET TV on Facebook show no so I live and then ABN Radio 1 I don't know money man or shemesa and then you na money man MYBET education about money man akwaba.
Yeah, Vincent Joso.
Na bibia boko.
Bibia edadi.
Na saying that's our traditional starting in term na nti ba san say me hu energy no.
Na that me starting in term.
Say no aso starting in term.
Oh, na say na dey onim say ndura nyama nko yi. Nti ene no kwan bia so say etimi starting in term na etimi prepare for enyumre games eba.
Na no you listener bi.
Yes.
That sound say if you are tight and pana.
Okay.
Oche me say na tradition be na dey bia me ka money man am so money man na abeka ntimi nim say ene otie nti so beka tradition kwana achia na say
money so Friday
obeka tradition kwana achia
Friday yeah the bet to mama yeah dey ban yeah the bet but gusu hwe show no senior bibia de baby a won so betimi ayden won so betimi enye bi nti ene yemra MYBET.AFRICA na Vincent enim say ndra de Liverpool ha investors here omom ko over 2.5 omom ko 1.5 omom ko Liverpool to score o share the game and that game nin nam with goals but ndra no ye hu just one goal enye hwe edu baby adaboni timi ba but enam eno so no say uwe mu wie the next day utimi fa de o hwe ni ndra na nti ene we are MYBET.AFRICA platform called www.mybet.africa na call top right corner be icon be as icon green me register ne so obo register ne so registration process ne very simple 3 simple steps now so that register by come MYBET ebusion the first one your phone number the other mobile money transaction say ne wudi a obetimi yi scan be two phones so boko now ni obi ni asem the next one your username edin be a person or the share or be him now for the about password no about the same password or confirm password no what register so MYBET for best send verification code now verify your account na ba come MYBET ebusuan when games were 9 games and a World Champions League no but bet builder option bet mean 90 selections in a frame into any MYBET.AFRICA use on bet builder option me too for senior teams see kan koyi early payout ya de ba ko a ese the count games wo your selection a early payout no afa ene o she two a now so wait me afa ho edi na bibia etimi akoyi into any MYBET.AFRICA platform now so shisha bet no tie show ne be more analysis about the Champions League games ebeba so and am no so no unso betimi nya 1 or 2 selections na enwumre die kwan bia so no obe fiska.
All right, kombia so no obe fiska eno money man message or the amount on internet ye beba quickly and money man yen hwe eno games no Galatasaray eno Victor Osimhen eshegu eno oha Konate yi papa and he right now share 10 goals in the UEFA Champions League. That is the Nigerian with the most goals
Yes.
in the UEFA Champions League competition. So Branton also actually the histories of the Champions League. I mean in terms of players about Nigerian players about that competition. And Ike Gundogan Abekasa or say and after the game Liverpool player could be saying say Charlie. Now I'm parking on the be say I'm here today. Yes, sorry I say Anfield, but then that hostile environment you know it is so much. So he was quite surprised and no Obisa Ike Gundogan and I just say a lot of things be rare. Chelsea and so we need 1-0 against Benfica. I mean, are you convinced about the results? Red card, no, it should be something that people should be worried about. But a lot of other games are told you all the games now. Any games now.
Okay, it's starting for Atletico Madrid and the Frankfurt game a course and I think say in Mbeka said this is one fixture. Uko MYBET.AFRICA bit me to first half over 1.5, second half over 1.5. Kwan bia so na bebo.
All right.
Ade nti Ndra Mbema sa betting option here. We share the Bundesliga. We share free as the West team e ban we Serbia go concede na. We whether Bremen a team or some baby Frankfurt. Frankfurt last 3 games were conceded 15 goals. Even this weekend, Omomuko try Frankfurt, you share 6.
Yeah.
Second half, you better 6, they move 4. And a game need to me the call. And upe team quite bia so no be conceded on the night Frankfurt. And we share on Champions League form from their first game against Galatasaray or share Galatasaray 5-1.
Yeah.
I dream be also bia in Yama to 2 year, but in the league, they are one of the worst when it comes to keeping clean sheets. Into going into a game at Atletico so one team they are always scoring in the first half.
Okay.
But their second half games and they are tie hard. In the second half, they find it very difficult to keep those clean sheets.
Yes. Before I will call article clean sheets levels, you see, Enra, I mentioned say if you look at Frankfurt, our last games beyond Bubiana.
Yeah.
They score goals in fact between Article and Frankfurt. All their games. Their last gamer Obekase goals ambemu their last 10 games. Gamer goals ambemu. Just 2 in their last 10 games. And England put over 1.5 goals. Into Russia, Frankfurt games on my ball with the exclusion of Enradeno.
Yeah.
Obo Orine 6-4 against Mönchengladbach. Orine Olusu 3-4 to Union Berlin. Orine 5-1 to Galatasaray. Olusu 3-1 to Bayern Leverkusen. Orine 3-1 to TNG Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
Osanso winning 4-1 to Werder Bremen. And in a more DFB poker match of money Angels boy or winning 5-0. So this season, every game be biano goes be the only game omutimi keep it clean sheet. Was their first game of the season. They are the EV Pokal. Aside that, any game beyond Bobiano, they consider goal. And if you're looking at how Alvarez Negris Mamo, no master this season now, was always obvious say Atletico Madrid will get a goal, and Ebeye any one goal is going to be more than 2 goals. And then I'm also sure they are scoring prowess, especially after going down that huge number of goals. No, they were able to at least pull one back.
Yes, into the Atletico game now from Omni Rayo game. No, that is a time Ameka say is a season like renewal for them.
Yeah.
Because now Inyama Nkoyi from the start of the season, Otimiko into a game with a 2-goal lead, or be concede, no about the ball draw. And against Rayo, they went in with that goal. Rayo petition 2-1, and they came to equalize and got that winning goal. And Oshe Atletico games coming to this game on a Frankfurt boy, a player Nidi Ewomupa Eye. Julian Alvarez. Right. He has been one player. He has been a key figure for this Atletico Madrid team.
Okay.
From 3 goals in that game, from 2 goals against Real Madrid, and also a goal and assist. Otiminya, that is Indra. That shows the level that he's trying to do in this Atletico Madrid team. And I think that this game, I wasn't surprised. Ushe, these 2 teams are Atletico Kuta, a massive home form going into this season, even though say they've had some bad patches. But Ebani home, Wanda Metropolitano, he's making sure say he's grinding results. In Tindra, seeing within the first 35 minutes, now Atletico about 2 goals. Then getting into the end of the halftime, Washe Treno, because this game would give us a lot of goals. And we got 3 goals in the first half, 3 goals in the second half, which shows the quality Atletico and Adrian said going into the season. We're reviving home. And he will battle with any team on it or be so on in the Bible. Osha Atletico are going into their next Champions League game on it as now.
Okay.
It's a difficult game. TNA picking that win is something about warm. And this Champions League phase, one thing I mean when they say unya team na sheno. When to me and sheno one you lucky I won't share any biom. Okay, Galatasaray ni Liverpool asem. And Galatasaray for because Liverpool G Champions League ni krana ya chene sheno. Ebi ana Liverpool ni Galatasaray din share biom. Okay. And that is the excitement about this season's Champions League. And the 2 Champions
you can only meet him in the playoffs,
yes.
And I say maybe probably the
knockout stages. Yes. In Tusha, Atletico had a game to win, and they did it. Indra, Antoine Griezmann, we got 12 games without a goal. Emandro Timinya and go draw shiny 200 goal. Atletico Madrid, I think say on
so says in Omudia co matches a check.
Oh. Match normal park account and ye Tindra. In Yamatimi Koye, man. I think Simeone ever born abaso. The season started poorly, but Siciano. Why not doing so better to Nyamaye?
Yes, I mean as a coach, it is good to always rectify our mistakes.
Yes.
Now what working upon it now Nyamasa.
Yes, in Tusha yesterday it was a good game for Atletico, getting a 5-1 against Frankfurt and also disciplining Galatasaray 5-1. It shows they are ready for the Champions League, and their next game against Arsenal will be the difficult fixture for them. And Simeone traveling to England, it will be one of the most defensive games ever in club football. Okay. Because these are 2 teams that defensively they are very solid. In the game, the Condra Bordeaux Glimt and the Tottenham Hotspur. Because I say, open club or home game, me confidence when you move, and I'm more confident when you move Bordeaux Glimt. At the internet, say 1, their pitch size and so and also a AstroTurf. Most of these European teams omu natural grass and a hybrid. So omu nya this AstroTurf embo ebia omu training pitches ne nyama bi o ha na bi was are fine. But this is a game Bordeaux Glimt, anytime they play at home against the big opponents, they go into this game knowing said they are coming to beat you because it's a home game. Osha Tottenham Penny the only side that made me say in the past 3 years, with me that is Bordeaux Glimt home, it me winning. And going there again, I think it's unbearable mistakes from in that game. How the game started shows this team is a team. They were waiting for Tottenham Hotspur. In the first half, one of the slowest games in the first half. Rest starts in the first half. Now, Bibiaj Bordeaux Glimt too. 63 ball possession, expected goals. They were supposed to at least get a goal in the first half.
Okay.
Omutimi outplay Tottenham, and in the second half, so how goals started say flow, and it took that last minute goal from Richarlison to salvage a point for Tottenham Hotspur. But Thomas Frank will pick something from this game. The way to for 3 days game is and now they are in the Champions League. In 2 games they are unbeaten in the Champions League. As a new manager with a new side in the Champions League, they are unbeaten. Going to difficult grounds and they pick it at 2 points. But I think say Oshe going forward Bordeaux Glimt fixture no was one fixture they should have at least gotten a win from, because any or Monaco, Obenya Copenhagen, and Obenya Paris Saint-Germain again, and that Paris Saint-Germain game will be a very difficult game for them. Sisiano, they have Monaco, they have Copenhagen to get good results from them. So they say, oh boy, that is the top 8 no man. Or be very confident going into that Paris Saint-Germain game. And I think say we heard Thomas Frank set up now the likes of Mohamed Kudus and some of the players more Richarlison more modern, but Thomas Frank team no, there are a lot of question marks for home. Okay. Even though say they started the season well, the performance has been good. But I think say from the Wolves game with a draw and now Bordeaux Glimt with a draw, no, and also on the Brighton, also another draw, raise a lot of question marks. I think so with Jumaye. The team is set. But with Jumaye, the likes of Javi Simons, Mohamed Kudus, and so to me integrate you into the squad, Senya, Inyama Betimiakoye. Yeah, Chelsea game in draft. Okay. And I think the highlight of the day, a red card. No? Okay. Apart from Chelsea winning and everything, a red card. No? And I think, say, in the red card, game ne koso, and I'm saying a game ne koso no. Me who is a Chelsea being a red card. And I was seeing the red card coming from Enzo Fernandez because he got a yellow card. And during the game, the fans no more boo now going to tackles. I say, I said, Enzo Fernandez, and so but he's very
yesterday,
emotional.
To me, he was our best player on the pitch.
Yes, and remember, and also he was very emotional, and I think say he was the player I was stepping to get that red card. But João Pedro Bemu, when the first tackle getting a yellow card, I'm saying no, this game will surely get a red card.
Because any player or yellow card no.
The likelihood of the player getting a red card was high. Until that time but I know the film and I was okay. He had a yellow card which I think wasn't a card, but in the game wouldn't me reverse cards no. So that was something I think. Say going into the game now, Chelsea in 3 consecutive games, it's me pick it red cards, and one thing in draw buy and into me check here say into where a record. I'm a Chelsea and I say team B or no to quit a record no team B or US MLS. Your friend Horsing Dynamo. Okay. On there, the only club who quit a record. Only have 5 red cards on a row. Into Chelsea, are they going to keep on to make sure somebody maybe beat this high record? Because in himself Chelsea a club, by record beating now, only number 1. Yeah. And after the game, Enzo Maresca didn't come on. Then come on in Nache say, was you and Yama be free the previous game? So this one they weren't panicking, even though say it was just a 1-goal lead. They weren't panicking. Now, the last time I saw a Chelsea manager pass this comment was Antonio Conte in 2017. Chelsea lose 3-2 to Burnley. The likes of Gary Cahill and Fabregas speaking red card. Now, Antonio Conte press no, and also pass like a comment like this. Say now he has to train with 10 to 9 men. Into during game, there's a red card bar. They know say they are solid to go, and I think say that is something. Discipline-wise, there should be a lot of concerns. Okay. Because as a club, who go into games and you are getting a lot of red cards, and your opponent will now come into games thinking, say, surely they'll get a red card and it will favor us. Going into the game, I think that on the night, Chelsea fans weren't that happy about the result. Okay. They were looking at goals, but every Chelsea fan should be happy about this result. I didn't see America and say, the last time at Chelsea keep a clean sheet. Okay. Wow. Even against Lincoln in the EFL, they couldn't keep a clean sheet. And the show say keeping a clean sheet has been something it has become a problem for Enzo Maresca boys. And Chelsea, one thing I studied in the game was their first 10 to 15 minutes in games have become so terrible. Benfica dominated in the first 10 to 15 minutes. Omubol post twice. And if not for offside, Benfica would have gotten that lead against Chelsea. And I think there's something Maresca needs to go on. Going into the game, going into the lineup, I wasn't surprised with lineup Owe friend Jose Mourinho Dubai, because we were looking at Pablo Leves leading them because of a good record in the friend is saying in the Champions League, the likes of Barcelona which goes against Luka Bakio coming into the game was something I was looking at, and Cucurella being a tough match. Okay. Because in Luka Bakio from Sevilla, how dominant he is when it comes to 1v1s. But in draw, Olusu 12 duels, 12 in a game, and after the game, Mourinho can say, if he's coming against a player like Cucurella, you wouldn't get it easy. Yeah. Because Cucurella wants attention, and player attention there. So on your attention based on say performance very bad. Nipa no face no. when to me and Bobo no attention about Indra Cucurella picking the man of the match anymore because facing a player like Luka Bakio was something. He's one of the best players when it comes to 1v1.
Is he the best left back in the world currently?
Yes, I would say he's the best left back, depending on. With me, the Spanish national team was starting, or the Omaji Euros. When even to the Nations League final,
if Bade is fit and playing regularly, is he going to start?
No, he's not going to start over Cucurella. Osha, the Spanish national team now, the way they set up their team, you would need a Cucurella in the team because they have wingers who are explosive.
Okay.
When he will be back to be now defense solid for you. Osha, the likes of Baldi, the likes of Grimaldo are they called battle Cucurella for that position. These are all attacking.
And even now, Madrid player, and I think Carreras has also been fantastic.
Yes, and I think the only player he would come closer to that defensive work of Cucurella, Betima Carreras.
Madrid.
Yes, boss. Yes, because Osha, he's more defensively solid and attacking wise, and so he adds one or two. Osha, the Chelsea lineup, Adebayo Vincent.
Before we hear lineup, I would want to ask, should Maresca and Chelsea fans, I would say, are concerned because Moneyman, in 9 games this season, Chelsea had the red card 3, yellow card 25.
Yes,
and there's been warning from the top hierarchy to Enzo Maresca say, Charlie, yellow card no more, suspension in the money.
Yes.
Fines
and
so the boys should be, careful. Should we be worried? Is it indiscipline? And I say they feel like always be a name equity.
Osha, this situation, I am more of maturity.
Okay.
Maturity plays a lot in this. The last time Chelsea experienced something like this was under Pochettino on the first season. Chelsea were getting yellow cards upon yellow cards. Jackson first 5 games, no yellow card, or may say the seed game. The likes of Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, who were picking unnecessary yellow cards. They do baby Caicedo has to miss a Chelsea game based on accumulated yellow cards. And I think that is one thing that my SK so team boys nekasa. Because in draw on the day, Enzo Fernandez yellow card was needless. Osha yellow card, I think Juan Pobium yellow card was it Gittins or Garnacho was needless. And this type of yellow cards, it comes into games and it would affect you.
Okay.
Saying honestly, when it comes to like say they are paying fines. And the and they say you are paying fines on a yellow card that later it costs the team 3 points.
Okay.
Saying the yellow cards they are coming in with red cards. Then the teams are winning or the team is winning. Honestly, I don't think they have a problem.
Okay.
But then they are picking red cards, yellow cards. Now at the end, the team is losing. It becomes a big problem for the club. And I think João Pedro Diano would be the last. Say a raising concern. Say Maresca. It's only boys.
Okay.
You say in the Premier League, in the Champions League, say obi farmer opponent now Bobo to Kunya. It accumulates a yellow card. These are some of the things that they need to avoid. The coach will be happy when you take a yellow card on a team new counter break and you stop the counter. The coach would applaud you. Okay. But say be a wako bobo ato akone and then say be a wako ye bibi and no so when yellow card no. The players, the owners, the coaches will go against you. And that is something as a Maresca team share no mutimi address. And yes, they are record na me boy no. They are on the verge of trying to break it. And I don't think Chelsea person break your record but not on this particular thing. In the Chelsea lineup.
Okay. Now,
Vincent, me Chelsea lineup going into the game. Lineup nearby, a lot of people were complaining. Now, the lineup at Chelsea, the buyer. Who is a Maresca was trying to prepare for Liverpool.
Okay.
Indirectly. Mekanisa. Ebimonzo Bekane said he was trying to do it based on players, no? Like there's a lot of workload on them.
Okay.
Caicedo was playing the game with an injury. João Pedro wasn't that fit to play the game. Andre Santos, from yesterday's commented, said now he's not fit until or after the international break. And there have been a lot of injuries in this Chelsea setup. So I think that this lineup was decent. But Vincent, I did back about my team. They said Chelsea team, no. I think from last season, Chelsea are downgrading.
Okay.
I didn't tell America Chelsea are downgrading. He said this is a lineup. It has, let's say, 4 to 5 starters in any game. Last season, Chelsea in the Conference League. Chelsea lineup they paraded in the Conference League games against some of the teams. Not that time, Brandon is a team B, no. you could see say some of the players were world class players or quality players. No, so the picture and better so and I mean go through some of the players. Near they are compare in draw a lineup at Chelsea parody, even though it had some quality players, you would see Chelsea against some of the teams in the Conference League. We have Joao Felix leading, Nkunku, Mudryk, Jules Briho, Enzo Fernandez, Nico Kurela, any Netoa and Dra game no mutim boy. To share this lineup, players 4 and then draw mutimi starting at Chelsea.
Okay.
But over this team, it shows quality compared to Ndra some of the players. I mean, can say players na Chelsea akwakoto maybe omo nyadie, but you could see the difference between quality with this lineup on the screen and also Ndra lineup at Chelsea parody, which shows say I think say they've downgraded, especially looking at the game share the left wing position. A player like Garnacho had a decent game with an assist, which in Ndra me check officially. An assist leading to an own goal and officially an assist. Okay. But going into the game, he has some decent Enzo Maresca praising for getting back, defending well, and also getting in the box. Gittins, also one player who also came in last season. This role was being occupied by Mudryk and Joao Felix. And if you compare Mudryk and Joao Felix, even those times they weren't at their peak. Garnacho and Gittins I think they are on different levels. And the Chelsea fans need be other media houses and Kofo be complaining say spending 2 billion on players. You can't even get a quality team to start in the Champions League. It becomes a big problem.
It's not true injuries and other suspensions
has caused the team, yes. Yeah. But I think going forward, the team has downgraded. And I don't think Maresca, who news going around, Maresca isn't really happy with the squad. Or Felix's squad not downgraded. And even losing Levi Cole, he was expecting Chelsea to get in another defender, which they didn't do. And I think going forward, no, Maresca will do my. But one thing I said Chelsea fans be they said this team, after the FIFA Club World Cup, didn't get enough time to rest. Secondly, players like Garnacho, Gittins, Bonanote, who didn't get good preseason with the team. So the only thing that affected Chelsea is here, say, Adentina Mutimi Kwaji FIFA Club World Cup who the same performance. Yeah. That is the problem. And what people need to understand, they say, this is a team, they are young. They would get to that level. But you shouldn't give them high hopes of things kicking well from now. Okay. It's all a Chelsea fan. No, you have a quality coach. The only thing I'll be here and say with time in Yama Bay, this season in Bible starting because I'm Chelsea from their first game to game with 10. That is their preseason period to make mistakes and to also correct some of the things. In mistakes, ACC, and I think they will correct and also do something well. Ndra Jose Mourinho, you name him the aura man. Yeah. Ndra the time now Enzo Fernandez, Benfica fans ni Bruno. He went there, spoke with them na Bibiato, and I think from the start of the game, his name was being sung by the Chelsea fans, and it shows in Yama with Miyama Chelsea, and it doesn't just end there. It comes with. He also stated say he's still a blue and it shows the love at Oma Chelsea. BCN Mourinho or dying or London at Ben Stamford Bridge, who shows the love of Gusu Ewoma Chelsea. And I think it's something Chelsea fans would adore him till the end. And it wouldn't be fans said the end be or the Benfica by in a year or the team be about Stamford Bridge. He'll get that praises on Indra Caicedo, Vincent. And I think he has been underrated for long. Ndra or 8 interceptions. Yeah. And that 8 interceptions is the highest interception done by a Chelsea player since 2015. Including me stress on here. From 2015, we've seen the likes of Mike Lessian, the likes of N'Golo Kantes being in this Chelsea setup, but with the interceptions and also most dual one. Indra Michel Klibi within 30 seconds. Or 4 interceptions. That shows the quality of the Chelsea team. And I think Indra with him, Enzo Fernandez, they boxed that midfield and made sure Benfica boys so intimate and coming. Yeah, Liverpool in Galatasaray. And I think Indra a feeling of what Liverpool should expect with the noise, with what they need to expect, especially on the night like that. You will welcome to hell, Bana Kessie. Now. Say Anfield for dreams on me there. Galatasaray for actual to mum did any bro so. And Adebako a Liverpool fan Biayane said this game is not a home and away game. Because if it was a home and away game,
comes back Chiromo.
Vincent in Anfield, in Gabia Galatasaray players need to mean Bobo. Because you who Arteta even trying to prepare his players for an Anfield game. And now the new Champions League phase, Ama Sisian uko into game. Now ko go wona team ne shawa or the bear bragging right. And unti na enei Oko Galatasaray 4 pages are I am Pian Kwano Mututuma Liverpool.
Okay.
Because no him say only Liverpool bet me a bioma ebia na be quarterfinals. And no so be a home and away fixture. Say playoffs go be a home and away fixture. Be nei wetimi ahye no so timi ride on no kopem say ebi obehia ne bioma. And I think say on the day mebo Galatasaray coach na baso. Vincent Galatasaray team no has been one of the worst teams when it comes to keeping clean sheet.
Okay.
In the Turkish league, anytime they are Galatasaray, they should go be or concede. Even in their first Champions League game, almost conceded 5 goals with 4 defensive errors. And if they go into a team or a game against Liverpool, and Liverpool is having one of the best attacking team in the world, one of the most expensive attacking teams in the world. Then they limit them to not getting a goal. It comes with a big
okay.
with motivations for them, especially going into their next few games on in the Champions League. And I think they need to carry a good motivation from this. Their next game, only Bodo Glimt home, which I think Bodo Glimt in easy. And Ajax so then Union Berlin now for the Wabo Monaco. So I think Oja Galatasaray next games now. The difficult one home is Manchester City. Ebedu Hono. No, to me, I see enough point to bet me at the top 8 or maybe the top 16,
okay.
Which would be something good for them. So I think that on the day, I slot, me who say Liverpool fans be Bonichi, and me 1 year because I slot always is a preacher of we plan the game
okay.
We don't think ahead. But in that game, he gave a real feeling of he's thinking about Chelsea.
Let's say a Champions League, but then you see. One thing is probably it might not be that he is thinking about Chelsea.
Yes.
But Ocheki players are almost at here. If you look at Liverpool lineup in that game, or start say Alisson Becker, and I think that Alisson Becker injury,
yes.
So they have to change him
off. Yeah.
Now apart from Alisson, all the players almost started from the back and the normal status if everybody is fit.
Yes, but
now the only 2 players there's only 1 player and a money man. Make us say only starter in this Liverpool team. That is Curtis Jones.
Yeah.
So we Curtis Jones Freeman or the flying vets by then so most like will occupy that. So the only who is not in this lineup only starter our Liverpool team. Hey, Mohamed Salah.
And I didn't tell Mika say he was preparing for the Chelsea game. I slot this season. One monetary games. He goes into difficult games with Robertson. In the Champions League against Atletico, or with Robertson. And the idea being created is that Robertson gives them that experience when it comes to difficult games.
Okay.
This game I was expecting Robertson because their first Champions League game against Atletico, Robertson a boy. But coming into this game was starting KKS, meaning against Chelsea, we will see a Robertson in there. Mohamed Salah against Galatasaray. I didn't even say Mohamed Salah traveling, especially on away grounds are their difficult grounds. A honor will show the strength of being one of the best players in the world. And benching Mohamed Salah and playing that is Frimpong at the right wing position was a big question mark. Because we've seen Frimpong playing that particular position for the Netherlands national team, play that position for Bayern Leverkusen. But this is his first time starting in that position for Liverpool after their preseason games. And Oshe Jones coming in for McAllister and Szoboszlai occupying the right back position now. Meaning that he wants to be defensively solid, but attacking wise, they will take their chances. But on the day, so Timmy quick changes. Sending at least so bet me a draw the draw would favor him. And one thing I was disappointed, they say if you weren't planning of starting Mohamed Salah, why did you leave Chiesa back in England?
Chiesa initially no
yes, later the neighbor can't squad no. Then going to Turkey Oyini Frimu and Liverpool did 3 goalkeepers in the core Turkey.
So it means that they knew about the fitness level of Alisson Becker.
Yes.
But it's not Rion Gumoha or bench.
Yes.
So if they needed any attacker.
And I think the game was seen from the aspect of Galatasaray. They are defensively poor. We can get 1 or 2 goals on there. So we need to look ahead of the difficult game ever against Chelsea, because last season we lose 2-0 it was Stamford Bridge, and then we lose against Palace. Losing against Chelsea again would now take the league title maybe away from them, because Arsenal are on red hot form. I think it was something I caused them, but we shouldn't take the credit from Galatasaray, because they came in and played a good game. Their goalkeeper made sure say everything, and on the day, and yet Alisson, I think Liverpool would have gone down by 3 or 4 goals to them, because he's shown that he's a world-class goalkeeper. And then I'm the likes of Osimhen and Dra Adebako Minis and Jane, when they say, Galatasaray, they are middle pairing. They were all English Premier League players. I'm about the English Premier League Nibida. From Torreira, I name him about Arsenal. From Lamina, no about Wolves, do baby no about Southampton. And also Gundogan, no about Manchester City. So this pairing, they are old guys of the Premier League. So if they are meeting another Premier League team, how the Premier League tempo, the strength, the physicality tier. So they came into the game and boxed that midfield and draft. Florian Vincent, I think said, baby Edun, I think I said I slot on my Florian Vitt be 2 games. Non to me and reviving him, because putting him in games, it's not helping him, but it's either taking the confidence out of him as a player. And I think they're going forward as well. Timmy trying to manage.
Should Liverpool fans be worried about Florian Wirtz? Because to me, they are by there, Charlie. Or are they anything to the Liverpool attack? Akwakoye Gakpo, Salah, and Hugo Ekitike na say omo make any magic, but no, in particular, I don't think they will pull any strings. Is that going to? Does it mean that I'm for best attackers or a flop?
I think that's already Liverpool signings this season, Vincent. I think Liverpool a club here. Liverpool said the Chelsea is the Man United, where omoto player the player and the touch, the pass, the shot is being counted. The media is on them.
Oh, but I've seen a couple of 007.
Yes, I know your fans, But me to me actually Liverpool game against Arsenal, Sky Sports, MIA, starter Florian Wirtz LED. Say running in behind, running into opponent's final third. Then I think says starts need to as we are seeing Kibia Nicolas Jackson a belly there. Because the band player running in behind, finding final third passes. Then there he's one.
Master Jackson was also creating chances.
Yes, but during those times, they were calling him flop for doing those things. Into adding now we have a 116 player coming in, 116 million player coming in. Now the idea and last season we were bashing other players for we are trying to credit him for. We had the likes of Frimpong, even coming into the Premier League 1 or 2 assists, but he hasn't been the Frimpong of Bayern Leverkusen. Osha Kekes, he hasn't been that Kekes. We saw him at Bournemouth. The same as Hugo Ekitike is the only player coming into the Liverpool setup with him kicking grounds running. And he's getting that way goals in Nyame here. Onumpono with Alexander Isak coming in, who's a pressure kakafano. And now Liverpool will be missing Hugo Ekitike. Maybe they'll be missing Alisson against Chelsea. So Alexander Isak may come in to play against Chelsea, and I think
against Chelsea, likely to start Isak.
Yes, because Hugo Ekitike picking not in the game, which Yamba assessing to see Yamba.
So no with the red card.
Yes, with the red card. Yes, he's surely missing the game.
So we can't miss 1 game.
Yes.
So it means that you're available for that Chelsea
but
game.
with the injury, But the issue has been Liverpool has spent 365 million on these players. Hugo Ekitike, Alexander Isak, Florian Wirtz. And it shows they are not getting the value they've spent on these players, especially about Florian Wirtz. Because Florian Wirtz in 7 games, we had the chances creation and then the XGs on goals and assists is very, very low. And I tell them they do time. I say I slot me man let him from now to the international break or after the international break. Man, the time groom him, because the Liverpool fans are complaining every touch on him he's falling down.
Hugo Ekitike.
No, there be Florian Wirtz. And they are seeing it has become a big problem for them. So I think.
But this morning, man, we've been talking about Premier League, and we had the intensity. But then in the Champions League, when he was at Bayern Leverkusen, board Champions League, near board night, I team said Champions League nights. A lot of all the media, names, so Bayern Leverkusen, but Liverpool about 2 Champions League games and nothing to show off.
Yes, I think that in the Champions League, one thing about football is saying ubetimi abobo ni na but confidence, talent, we are seeing my talent ya de ba could be any hard work in them.
Okay.
Hard work never with confidence, any motivation, and then ulusu confidence. That is where you get a 1v1 against a goalkeeper. Then you overthink.
Okay.
Because confidence in you. But the confidence in you play based on the talent you have. Florian Wirtz, Bayern Leverkusen, on any day, he was one of their best players in their setup.
Okay.
Because he knows that the team is around him and he takes the play every time. But coming to Liverpool, funny compare Hugo Ekitike. If Hugo Ekitike didn't get those early 2 goals, he would have also been struggling as of now. But those 2 goals are building a confidence. Onumpo with just Alexander Isak transfer coming in, you getting a red card by taking a shirt off. Okay. That is what affects players. Into Florian Wirtz, it will take him time. Into America, Iron Slot needs to start introducing him in the second half when Liverpool are leading, comfortably leading. Into Obama, he would get a chance to now explore at the opposite.
Okay.
He wouldn't have pressure on him. Say he needs to decide a game. Into it, no, 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 assists, or 1 assist. It improves him. Now, if the talent in him will now come out. But as of now, if you keep on putting him in difficult games, the confidence level in I'm 50. Yeah. After every game, yeah, so baby 0. After the okuta ball, then he will lose the ball. We've seen players like I said facing this same issue.
Yeah.
Because one, the price tag is heavy on you. The fans are on you. The media are on you. They are looking at you doing everything.
I think so. Bit is a Florian Wirtz put on no pressure and starting.
Yes,
yes, I mean it's a pressure and because Liverpool air winning. Liverpool win in a month for Shedan and can't some more, but it should be a concern.
Yes. You share Inter Milan and Slava Praha.
You not share any games.
Yes. Into with Inter Milan and Slava Praha, make Kahandra said team last season group phase about 8 games keep 7 clean sheets. And this is an Inter Milan setup. So Upo be on him group stages
Okay.
That is why we've seen them in 2 finals from the last 3 Champions Leagues. That shows the pedigree and the quality of Mkuta setup. And they show the real catanaccio in football. The likes of you who say AC Milan, Juventus, used to give us those things, but Inter Milan are still using that same system and it's working for them. Indra, getting the 3 goals was a surprising result for me.
Okay.
Because I was looking at Inter Milan, but mistakes led them to getting those goals. And I think it's a Dumfries was starting the Champions League year and he will keep on improving, and we are going to see the Dumfries we saw in the final, and I think that was a good result for them.
In the final, they say one
in the semi-final, sorry.
Final,
Bayern Munich any performance, and I think that on the day everybody was expecting Nicolas Jackson to get a goal.
All right.
And I think it's a good step for him as a player.
Okay.
Because when you're bashing 1 or 2 from the Munich fans on their game against Werder Bremen, a 1v1 or say, and going into this game, he was played as the number 9 and Harry Kane as the number 10.
Yeah.
And about 1 link-up play leading to go, I was very happy about it. And I think that is what, so to me, improve it and keep that momentum.
Okay.
He would be one of the best players with Harry Kane because Harry Kane would assist you.
And he can also learn a lot as a young striker.
Yes, from Harry Kane too. I think that the season at Bayern Munich, if they are to keep him or not, this is the real time for him to learn from one of the best strikers in the world. No, with me improve. And I think that it wasn't a surprising result. But I'm seeing Pafos getting a goal. And they surely had a goal because they've shown in the Champions League said they would come in and dominate. But the quality in the Bayern Munich setup was too high for them. Was too high for them. And they couldn't get that result. And Olise, one of the brilliant players in the world when it comes to that left wing position. Indra, Obieni Olise, when he goes to away field, Obedi can call Edina Kofa grass to test the grass, the type of footwear. And I've seen video going around and Kofo Bibre. But I think if you've followed Olise for longer, that is his tradition to know how the pitch is and also which footwear. So I think Real Madrid also picked a good win. 5-0. Kylian Mbappe, Vincent Ciano, Kylian Mbappe, and Harry Kane are the top marksmen in the world.
Okay.
Harry Kane, this year, we bought 9 games, actually 13 goals. And Kylian Mbappe, on the other hand, into elbow goals. And these 2 players in the Champions League, expected goals per 90 minutes, 2.85.
Okay.
It's very huge. That is 3 goals per game. And I think, with the momentum these 2 teams are picking, if you are facing these 2 teams, you should be able to find a strategy to stop these players. One, yes, you consider a lot from them.
Yan share and UEFA Champions League games are nyame admane ebetodwa 9 solid games and eba ahoma no so chese enya ogudi ntene yebesia si form na ye de bet no enso etibi dia ba Karabakh ni Copenhagen Royal Union St Gillois and Newcastle Arsenal Olympiacos ewo Emirates Barcelona and PSG. Yes, that is the big game of the night. Sanso and Bayern Leverkusen, PSV, Borussia Dortmund, Atletico Bilbao, Monaco, and Manchester City, Napoli, and Sporting CP, and Villarreal, and Thomas Partey, a basic form against a Juventus. And I think that these are the games and Subit Meto Janti Moneyman, Yanshana Remo.
Yes, any games need there, Vincent, I know a day. And I think say the highlight of the day, the Paris Saint-Germain against Barcelona game. But I think this game about at the wrong time. I mean, make us about at the wrong time. So this game about both clubs are having massive injuries. Now, Ubi said this should have been the Champions League final last season.
Yeah.
And say, the feeling of the Champions League final, we should have had a full team. The likes of Ousmane Dembele, Desire Day, Vertinha, more coming in, but these 3 players will be missing out. We hear the Barcelona setup now. They are also missing out some key players. Gavi Munio, even their goalkeeper Joan Garcia will also have picky injury. He wouldn't be able to start in this game. And I think we've got a game at the wrong time.
Okay. At the
wrong time. And I'm looking at saying this game maybe in December in KBR we would get a lot of players back from injury. Not and also no. Both teams say to me about more than year. But I think this fixture, one fixture, it brings excitement.
Okay.
Obia will follow the Champions League year, memorable Champions League game, it was this fixture. Barcelona, after losing, went to Paris to win 4-1 to be able to turn it around with Neymar. And on the other hand, the Paris Saint-Germain repeated the same thing. Beating Barcelona will fear by 4-1 with a red card at Barcelona. So this fixture there, about the goals at the back. Bendra Liverpool ni Galatasaray da maya bohu. Because match Abedin is a kuta goals. 1 yellow card, there will be just 1 goal. And Barcelona last 8 Champions League games, so we 7. Are producing over 2.5. So that means one team they are scoring goals. Paris Saint-Germain last 100 Champions League games, it won't be anywhere above goal. Let's draw.
Okay.
And the game, no, surely one team will score. Surely one team will score in this game. And I think it will be something say game no over 0.5 for Barcelona, over 0.5 for Paris Saint-Germain, and who beat me at all. Over 1.5 in the game, who beat me at all. But this is also one fixture. Barcelona last 12 home games, 11 was 2+ goals.
Yeah.
To a team to score 2 goals in this game, I beat me for Barcelona because of Lami Amam available, Rafinha available. The only player maybe if you beat me, I say Lewandowski. I don't know how fit he is going into this game.
I think Lewandowski said last game about. I think we'll recover.
Yes.
But now Ucheki players absent for PSG.
Yeah.
A more natural front three.
They are all out.
Desire Doué, Dembele, and Kavicha Kvaratskhelia. I don't know, or Abase or doubtful. Probably obey me about some minutes, but Vitinha so.
And their key.
Yes, but also they didn't say Base or doubtful. I think that Joao Neves no, and also doubtful. So I mean, it be dependent. But if you look at Barca on the other hand, Lamine Yamal, the only player to me believe say. Obeye, I mean a huge loss for Barca would be the Brazilian international Rafinha, yeah. Because Lewandowski,
Rashford are picky form.
Rashford,
yes.
Ferran Torres, Lamine Yamal is back, Dani Olmo, and probably Fermin Lopez. But Fermin Lopez, Obiane Bayadrin said if Olmo is fit and playing, Olmo will always start ahead of Fermin Lopez. Yes. Among defenders, Arao, Kubasi, Kunde, and even Bade Krampono, essentially back. Probably they might start Martin in this game.
Yes, and we had the goalkeeper inside now. Even though Joan Garcia we have Chesney. He was one of the best goalkeepers in last season's Champions League.
Yeah.
So he would also come in and replace. With Paris Saint-Germain, one thing this game I think would maybe help them. They say, a team in the last 17 games it's just 2 games. And when I both team to score is here, but any game no. If there will be goals, we are going to see both teams scoring. And upe coach and your person team ye bibi mo be it will be Luis Enrique.
Okay.
Against Barcelona, the Catalan giant any or do you the treble or Sunday Paris Saint-Germain about treble. I think this game we'll see goals, but the goals wouldn't be match. I'm seeing a handicap of Paris Saint-Germain, a handicap of 2 of Paris Saint-Germain will be the safest bet I'll bet me afa. My MYBET.AFRICA because amount 1.30 odds. 1.30 odds and I think that is a good thing that you can go in for. But I'm seeing Barcelona picking a results in this game.
Yeah, to me, I think that this will be, a very huge game before I call other games in this. You know, if you look at Barca, the last time Barca lost was against a Villarreal. That is last season, last but one game on boy season, and Barca were 13 games only lose here. But to be very honest, if you look at Barca team now, Moneyman, they have a very strong squad. Probably Joao Neves, Vitinha, and the Spain Fabian Ruiz.
Yeah.
So you started these 3 players crowd. The front 3 will be Bracola, Ramos, either Lee and now one of these Mbaye or more other young squad. No? These players might not be at the same threat like Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Desire Doué. Yeah. But probably if you look at Barca, Lamine Yamal but when Lamine Yamal came in the last game, no, obey muna instant impact and obey make a set more with me edit we need that game. Now Marcus Rashford has been on a very fine form after scoring against Newcastle. Even Onya Shego, he was providing assist for other players. Probably they will need players on Metima Press. To be very honest, I would like Senka Hansen Flick best starting Ferran Torres in this game. You will need somebody to be pressing. And maybe in the diamonds of the game, in the second half, you will need now the Lewandowski bomb. He's a goal poacher. The least chances are Lamine Yamal be creating. Or bet me their share. Ombe missing Rafinha in this game, but with Rashford form or war, I don't think so they will miss him. And then Pedri, De Jong, and that midfield battle no, would be something very, very difficult. In as much as they are missing Dembele, they are missing Desire Doué, and they're also missing Vicha Kvaratskhelia. But it's a Barca for no elusu the midfield control to Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, and Ruben Joao Neves. That will be a punishment for them. And if you look at Barca team now, Moneyman, probably they have a very good form, and there's a reason why a lot of people wanted Barcelona and PSG to meet in that last final. Yeah. If you look at almost last games, the last time Barca shared PSG was that famous comeback in 2017-2018. So yeah. 6-1. But since then, almost last 4 games on always PSG and the winning. PSG shared a 4-1 in 2021. They also scored Barca Equation, that is in 2024, last season. Yeah. Barca Equation in that playoffs, no. And I think that game lineup, no, they have Dembele, Asensio, and Kylian Mbappe. That was 2 seasons ago. Mbappe last season. I say when these 2 teams initially be always PSG upper hand, especially. But any game is a game that we are losing the firepower. We want the firepower. Ubia won the midfield. Yeah. So definitely Barca lose one guys. Yeah, but last season, Barcelona became Barca and was Wojciech Saxony who was in the post. So to me, I think they're in the game. No, idea behind PSG they are missing their firepower. No, and that firepower, no, you how a go against you against your Olympic master, especially last season. Last game on boy on the Ballon d'Or night. No? So to me, it's going to be a very difficult game for PSG, especially on mobile away. Because normally PSG for normal time travel and conquer Barca, especially our company. So to me, I think that this is a game that Lamine Yamal started here now social media. Rashford, big occasions like this, he a player also a very good record against PSG, especially at United. Yes. Anytime when United be share PSG now or Taisha goals. Yeah. And I think so it's going to be an interesting game. But to me, I see Barca winning this game. We should expect a lot of goals in this game. And games like this, I'm expecting Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, and Marcus Rashford. All these players are potential goal scorers in this game. But PSG will also score a goal. In as much as they are missing Dembele, Desire Doué, but Cody Bracola, and Ramos are players that they are also good players. I mean, Ramos, when he was at Benfica, he was one of the top strikers. I don't call PSG, but probably team now coach prefer to play with Dembele as the number 9 So it doesn't depict the fact that if they are able to create chances for Ramos, maybe Ontimi and Shego Bracola, or another player, like I said, and also the final decisions they are affected because he was a starter before Desire Due.
Yeah.
Ever begin a free lineup in Cafes, PSG starting front three would have always been Dembele, Vicha Kwaraskali and Bracola, but he hasn't been decisive enough.
Yeah.
And that is why Olusu the place need to Desire Due. So to me, he's also an integral part of PSG team, no. But in this game, I'm expecting Barcelona to win, especially if Lamine Yamal are very good there. PSG they don't have any excuse.
Okay, in terms of Villarreal and Juventus game, this was one fixture in the Champions League. Villarreal, Itimi, Juventus, Freeman. I think coming into this game, these are two teams that defensively they are a bit solid.
Okay.
We have Villarreal last 12 games our ball Ewofia. Itimi less over or under 2.5. Into maybe under 2.5 or less goals and about in that game. Juventus is another team and the last 7 away games on also under 2.5 and above. So going into this fixture, these two teams are defensively solid. But Juventus are my who say when they go into games and the opponent is attacking, they can also attack and we'll see a lot of goals. You who against Inter Milan and you who against Dortmund. Into the Juventus one teamer, so Oba on all cylinders trying to fire them and they would also come in and also perform so well. And in this game, me say Juventus are coming into this game purposely for a revenge.
Okay.
Because this was a team they were expecting to beat in last season's Champions League at Villarreal the Yom. So they are looking at coming into this game and making sure so beat me Ashe Villarreal Ashe. But going into the game, I think the game will be decided by either two players.
Okay.
Nicolas Pepe of Villarreal, because of performance what they did this season. One thing about Nicolas Pepe is that he's one player in any European games who can play about 2+ shots per game. And yes, just short on target. He's one of those players. In terms of people come and MYBET.AFRICA and Boko player shorter. Nicolas Pepe is one player beat me for.
Okay.
On the Juventus side, Meko for another player friend with Vlahovic.
Okay.
We've seen him coming into the game. Juventus last 7 games our Bemuna with me about goals in the second half. And he has become that super sub for the Juventus team.
Okay.
So this is one game, these two players can decide the game. Into on the night, who say Vlahovic Ashego and now say Nicolas Pepe Ashego, I shouldn't be surprised. Okay. Because these are two players that are holding the team and making sure say performance a team need baba abebede didn't be abekoyi. Juventus last competitive Champions League games we both team to score on time, but into an fiction say who goes man in because Villarreal and Adrian said the likes of Thomas Partey Betinichi, I imagine say they will decide the game through the middle and be defensively solid. Wouldn't see a lot of goals. But some of you imagine say we are using the likes of Nicolas Pepe to attack more. We are going to see a lot of goals in this game. And this game, I'm backing Villarreal to get a result.
Okay.
Backing Villarreal to get a result because Villarreal are through bad patch. Losing against Tottenham on the first Champions League game. Before that, Tomu lose against Atletico Madrid. And meaning, when they meet difficult opponents, they find it very difficult. So this is something that they need to prepare against a team like Juventus, who defensively, almost solid. So they'll try to take advantage of. But, say, come and MYBET.AFRICA, game will be a bit cagey. It is maybe a handicap of 2 for Juventus are fine.
Okay.
And now Villarreal, win or draw, I'm also seeing in this game. Yeah, I'm sure Dortmund. Any Atletico Bilbao. Now, Vincent, Dortmund in the Champions League, I think yeah underrate him. I didn't make us say underrate him. The coach friend Niko Kovac, or before Dortmund team, no, they've not lost any group or league phase match. It's either they are drawing or winning.
That's a group stage and a league phase. Dortmund
on Lusu here. Free time a coach in before Dortmund Juma.
Okay.
And they've played 10 games during that time. We're winning 7. About 3 draws.
Okay.
And I don't think against Atletico Bilbao will be that game I'll give them the defeat. And I'm not seeing that happening. Dortmund, a team, in the last 9 Champions League games, they 8 are producing over 2.5. It's a team on the European scene in their domestic league or goals at Dortmund.
Okay.
So this game, I would expect the likes of Guirassy to get more goals because that is what they are used for. They are used to way in games. Atletico Bilbao on the other hand, they've had a very bad patch after the injury of we friends Nico Williams. So after Nico Williams, form Natico, performance wise, getting results, even last time we friends a team we perform for Alaves, so it's something that they're finding it very difficult. But one thing that I'm gonna say in their 5 competitive games on my ball, emu baako pɛ na both team to score a ball.
Okay.
Nti ene so timinya ni day, etiminya an early goal against Dortmund. Maybe they can be defensively solid and get Niko Kovac his first defeat in the Champions League group phase or league phase. So I think this game will bring us excitement, but we are going to see the yellow wall being the 12th man for Dortmund, and it will be very difficult for a team like Atletico Bilbao to get a result. Saying in Dre, who say the likes of Galamo making sure say their stadium wouldn't be at peace for Liverpool players.
Yeah.
We are going to see something similar with the Dortmund fans, which they've been doing every time. Yes, and has been one of the most difficult grounds to visit. Beside the likes of Real Madrid, all the big European teams, they find it very difficult to go to Signal Iduna. And this game, I'm seeing Dortmund straight win and maybe both teams to score, because I think Bilbao would try and come in with some fireworks, beat me a bomb, but I don't think they have the men to go over this Dortmund setup. Yeah, Arsenal, any Olympiacos, and I think say Arteta beat me in the second clean sheet in the Champions League.
Okay.
At the Inter Makers and so Olympiacos in the first game against Paphos to me hold the Olympiacos from not scoring. And okay, I'm not writing off Paphos, but Paphos defense,
okay,
any Arsenal defense are like 10 times, 20 times than the Paphos defense,
okay,
which will be a key figure for our Arteta team. Arsenal in the last 3 games or about twice, and we me actually 2 or more goals into a team beer or either saw a show and obenya that goal won channel, and that has been something that it has helped them, especially going into their games. And Arsenal conceding at home is something very difficult for you to get.
Okay.
We saw Real Madrid not getting a goal against them at home, and playing against Olympiacos, I'm not seeing Arsenal going into this game feeling so Olympiacos is a team they can override them and they'll just go in and just maybe misbehave. Okay. But Arteta wants to build something from the Premier League to the Champions League. He's touching on every trophy available. Say nay, at the end of the season, it will be a bit miaji, it will be a maybe Bakwa and Aminu, Ediama Arsenal fans. And I think say this is one game, Ubetimiache Olympiacos handicap of 1, it's Arsenal.
Okay.
Because Arsenal will surely win by 2 goals or more. And it's something Arteta and Branty and Arsenal to win with a clean sheet. And
now,
so
it's a situation whereby Mikel Arteta now league no the so.
Yeah.
If he decides that Victor Gyokeres about him, I mean rested some of the players, is it going to affect them? So I know who especially the lineup and slot this starting Liverpool game.
Yes, so Arsenal the next game we're in the Premier League against West Ham. And West Ham ain't need that good form, even though say they've changed managers. You know, manager change brings a lot. Planning how to prepare for the team. But I think one thing I mean about Arteta this season is he goes into every game as a final. Into so I best start Victor Gyokeres. Now later we fine. Into that is one thing I've liked about Arteta this season. On person or complacency be a Benamenosu no lose 2 games. Into Benamenosu he goes into every game prepared. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised seeing a full squad against Olympiacos at home.
Okay.
He will try to win the game in the first half. Then in the second half, why 1 or 2 changes because of Nancy injuries at the team. So when you're lucky, injuries may affect him. Into Napoli and Sporting Lisbon. Listen, this fixture, I'm about 2 teams this year were twice bet. In the 1990 and 1991 European competition. Now both games ended in a 0-0. Inti ene sebi ekuhu 0-0 draw man nya enwa. Antonio Conte on the other hand they lose 2 consecutive games aboso, which is something that we don't see Antonio Conte going through that patch. So this will be one game at home in Naples to make sure say performance no a better solid for the fans to also stand and also make sure say be a bit me apoyi. So this is one fixture I'm looking at Antonio Conte coming up with a good result against Sporting Lisbon, even though it's a Sporting Lisbon Echo born home against Karamati, Ebo goals. But against Napoli, they wouldn't get it easy like that.
Yeah.
This is one fixture. Say Okoye Lucas and
okay.
Because Oshe Napoli, they are one of the teams in all their games. But first half, say Napoli benya yellow card or Nyebi.
Okay.
They are very disciplined on the day. And they make sure say Bibion Biano, it comes with a good result. Against AC Milan, they were very solid. And being solid, they tried their best, say they could have gotten the results at Inter Milan. And I don't know if today Kelvin De Bruyne is going to start. At the Inter Makers, Antonio Conte passed the comment about Kelvin De Bruyne, and I think it was on a funny side, but Antonio Conte when he makes decisions, yes. And okay, say Kevin De Bruyne bufu based on say oyi ne free mudia, then that's the wrong man or person attacking him. Because he's very disciplined when it comes to his games. And this is the second time with me Kevin De Bruyne in crucial games. One against Manchester City when they had a red card.
And he had to sacrifice one player.
Yes, and the next one was against AC Milan, and AC Milan had a red card, so we were looking at going in with full force to Timmy De Bruyne. So, and then if a player needs to prove a point to Antonio Conte, it's Kevin De Bruyne on the day, and to make sure so better for me. And I think that this fixture, we are going to see something different from what happened in those two fixtures. We are going to see both teams scoring. Sporting Suarez leading their line, or no, friend Luis Suarez leading their line is one of the top marksman. Obabe replacing Victor Gyökeres, and also you been the likes of the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, McTominay, Højlund coming into this game to make sure so they get a goal. So I'm looking at this game ending in a 1.5 or both teams to score. One option I'll bet me a for. General last game that is Monaco and Manchester City.
Okay.
And up a team Oshia French clubs and Yimta Shinapa Manchester City. So Manchester City Champions League be away to me free man. Say Monaco ni Lyon and now Real Madrid.
Okay.
And they find it very difficult against French clubs. Man City last outings against French clubs now, keeping clean sheet crying a day. And it has become a big issue for them when they meet French clubs.
Okay.
And Oshe Monaco are coming into this game, anytime they are also meeting English clubs now, they find it very difficult.
Okay.
So now, so Monaco bet me already on that history behind Manchester City and French clubs, so bet me a good result on the night.
Okay.
But I know bookmakers, everybody is tipping Manchester City to get a good result against Monaco. Oshe Monaco last 3 competitive games on my both here, 3+ goals in the bowl.
Okay.
So going against the Manchester City with Erling Haaland, Phil Foden on form, Jeremy Doku, and Savinho Mono, you should be expecting goals. This game will surely give us over 2.5. And Monaco a team bia quite bia so they concede. In their last 7 games, competitive games, they move 6, both teams to score a ball.
Okay.
So to show how can they dominate, how can they hold Manchester City from them not maybe overscoring. But on the day there are 2 players I met at on, which we should so also player to score or players that are tipping to give you maybe a game changer. One, Ansu Fati.
Okay.
He has scored 4 goals in his last 3 games.
Brutal.
Yes, 4 goals in his last 3 games. On the Manchester City side, Phil Foden he recovers her form no last 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
And I think that these 2 players can be a good boost for Manchester City. Maybe
now on for Haaland in count.
Haaland will be any minute that.
Okay.
So we will go. But these are 2 players. But on the day, we may see a surprising result, a surprising package from Monaco. Paul Pogba may get a chance to play in this game. Yes. And say Paul Pogba against Manchester City, unim the record of war against Manchester City. So I'm not sure he will start the game.
Okay.
But maybe come in the second half and try to make sure saying Fin Hono any boss near final third to the likes of Ansu Fati would be a good. This game I'm seeing both teams to score.
Okay.
I'm not that convinced that Manchester City would have a convincing win against Monaco.
Okay.
I'm seeing a both team to score over 2.5 happening. Maybe a handicap of 2 or 3 for Monaco to get a result in this game, because Manchester City against French clubs na baba heading. And the last time a Manchester City visited Monaco in 2017, Monaco is sharing by 3 goals to 1. So goals are likely to happen. But who is to take that lead near the back will be my problem. It's a now come and MYBET.AFRICA. These are one of the 2 results I attach on. And I think say with Connors Nyama, with Newcastle Union St. Gallo, there will be Connors in that game.
Okay.
Newcastle be to set pieces more. Arsenal Olympiacos will be in himself that Arsenal the set piece kings, they will come into that game. Barcelona Paris Saint-Germain, the intensity of the game may lead to a lot of corners. And also Bayern Leverkusen PSV would also get a lot of corners. And I'm seeing Villarreal Juventus also giving us a lot of corners.
Yes, my corners, but before I be corner, on this Champions League season, am I a lot of surprises?
Yes.
And I would want to know, say, is there any games who believe say, and are any options in some games I believe say a no-go area, especially in this game for investors or more share and almost multi.
Okay, so Usha, any games, a bit more it will sound way wild. Barcelona Paris Saint-Germain game, anything I'm kind of say, for over, it should be over 1.5 and no more.
Okay.
January Locker, we may see an under 2.5 in this game. because Paris Saint-Germain are coming into the game with not their key stats.
Okay.
To say Kylian, to say Ousmane Dembele. Maybe today Paris Saint-Germain may switch to a 3-back system. And if they are switching to a 3-back system with Zabanye, Pacho, and Marquinhos, meaning they'll be defensively solid. So we may not see that goals. History back, he said these two teams are high goal scoring.
Okay.
But we may see an under. It is either you are picking a handicap for one team or over 1.5. Say a couple under testing in Liverpool, any ball under now, you wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And then guy back, any Copenhagen. Or it's in now Copenhagen side, but I'm seeing guy back picking up a good result against Copenhagen. It's either they are getting a win or draw at home or getting a good result, because these are two teams are on home grounds are very difficult to visit.
Okay.
Whether wedding, especially going to Azerbaijan, is very difficult there. So this is something Umbe Omadjin said they would go into that game and perform so well. I think the other game a bit more a surprising game is Napoli in Sporting, because of the history, and also 1.5 both team to score. A better options are better for. Over 2.5 wouldn't be likely, because Antonio Conte loses 2 games on the row. With just a 1-0 win, one goal, they'll be defensively solid to keep that 1-0 win. In Tibia now over 2.5, in Timian Kwankobo. So that is also one game. And also Monaco against Manchester City. I think comfortable wins Manchester City to win, Manchester City to score 2 goals. I know I shall win, because this is a Monaco team. They are now on hot form, so they will try to get a good result. So I think these are some of the games maybe say investors say come and MYBET.AFRICA, especially with options on BPK, because one yellow can maybe I could do it here. But one thing they say, Bayern Leverkusen against PSV. This is one game a yellow card, beba. So if you are looking at yellow cards, you can go into that game and also get some good results from also those games.
Right, and money man, and what's in Cantene, well, rare games, Moon and I'm not so say, ye de Opemun and Casabana, ye de the odds, no, and the say, I already are now. Yes, what will board the winning odds and before money, my baby one. Monko Telegram, and ye did live in play bets, ni bigumu. Emma boy, especially Chelsea, the one game in Sikono. And I did to me say that game will end under 2.5. 3 odds, especially Liverpool, the one game in Sikono. Live game will end in under 2.5. Live odds no. I know a de. So join Sports Arena. Our Telegram. Sports Arena on Telegram. Ho and yidi black markets, Aviator, Superman, spin the OPBA, all the black market business. Into be join a group no. Na once but money man I ready all the and ne win odds no e by mamo.
Okay, in any odds, Dortmund, any Atletico Bilbao. I think Dortmund win or draw over 1.5 for that game. No, Union Saint-Gilloise, any Newcastle 1.5. Monaco, any Manchester City over 2.5 in that game. Villarreal against Juventus, handicap of 2 for Juventus to win. Bayern Leverkusen PSV 1.5 or Barca Paris Saint-Germain, handicap of 2 for Paris Saint-Germain. Napoli against Sporting CP, Napoli win or draw. And Arsenal any Olympiacos, and also Arsenal straight win. Code no GR4P 10 odds MYBET.AFRICA with the 200 cedis tie here 2,000 Ghana cedis and never 9 now Butumaya there.
Everybody now Butumai then Liverpool for high brutal canra. Yes, West can be brina my bet and main selection for and UCL games no Karabakh FK and FC Copenhagen game no over 1.5 goals in that game. Union Saint-Gilloise any Newcastle game and also obey me ako over 1.5 goals in that game. Arsenal any Olympiacos. A straight win for Arsenal. Samsung Bayern Leverkusen, any PSV and Eindhoven game no. We wait me call double chance and a win or draw for Bayern Leverkusen. Borussia Dortmund, any Athletic Bilbao game no. And also we wait me call double chance for Borussia Dortmund. Samsung NNA Monaco Man City game no. And we call both teams to score. Both teams to score. Samsung NNA Barcelona. Any PSG game no and no call 1 that is early payout win for AFC Barcelona. Napoli any Sporting CP double chance for Napoli. Sanso NNA Villarreal any Juventus game no double chance for Juventus. Win or draw for Juventus. Out of 16.50 on my bet. The code no FJ4P. FJ4P. Yes, so the way games are yababo no idea. Money man quickly. My players to score no.
Yes.
On say Ayana a type of Bimuso on the last of my players to score. Gurasi. Konya penalty but it obey me. I selected some 5 games obey me my player to score na fama ahwefo na eti for na fan sorry juma dey so. We a bonus.
Okay, into say player to score, you Juventus and Villarreal game.
Okay.
So player be me actually go on that day. I think Vlahovic the form in the last 7 games with me actually go am Juventus so be one player met me for with the Dortmund any Atletico Bilbao. I think Grassi is also one player bet me share also no so bet me go. Barcelona against Paris Saint-Germain. Okay. I'm looking at Lewandowski go in that game.
Lewandowski. Yes. No one start here.
One start cry Obimwa.
Yes, when you're 2 minutes got
Obeshego because Upe play or Nim the Champions League ball or taking the chances at Lewandowski. And also with the Arsenal game, I'm looking at Victor Gyökeres getting a goal in that game because it will be a goal, it will be a game and he will be playing against a team they will try to press to bring more spaces to also get those chances. So Victor Gyökeres for the Arsenal game. I'm looking at Lewandowski for the Barcelona game, Grassi for the Dortmund game, and I also now Juventus there no. That is Vlahovic. Manchester City against Monaco. Erling Haaland getting a goal. So 5 players to score. Oko in sports are in a telegram. Mo be who say code ne da. Now it's waiting me.
Ya share link ne dam chuku na onso waboso na the oyan say obey deposit 100 cedis bi. Now they are true na say once watcha na say asanso the amount. My bet in kwana ucha bet na edia na send SMS say madam bra panyin pacho wedding log in na redraw scan unya ne baby ade say my bet penabena me din the Vincent o te Benedict nka ene oso net na fide na chi echinchim niam Benedict nanim eye kokko kakra a chese niam akoye listo also ebo ya chidom na ye de niam ni na be nyam admo china same time 1 p.m. ene ehia na ye fa adwuma de no ensanso fan bro.